Yuji freaking Itadori is finally back. Let's go! Usami points out that they need to reveal their hand and what they hold. A power so great that Dabura would think twice before waging war. A strength that will make it very difficult for the Sumerians to overstep their welcome. The Jujutsu Council need to put every effort in locating humanity's very own deterrent, Yuji Itadori. Yes, our theory has finally been confirmed. My guy has been alive all this time and was indeed the person Mahito was referring to back in chapter 7, where he's waiting for Yuji to pass through to the afterlife. Currently, Mahito is waiting in the passageway between the circulation of souls. Sadly for him, Yuji still hasn't crossed it yet. And not only that, Yuji is pretty much immortal, as Gegi slaps a panel of him aura farming in the midst of a random crowd. Through the glimmer of what is revealed, nothing looks different about Yuji. Well, maybe he's a bit taller and, broader. However, remember, he's half curse and half human. For years, Kenjaku had been hopping from body to body, experimenting, all to create a new evolution of cursed energy. During the Meiji era, when a woman with a unique genetic makeup was discovered, that allowed her to give birth to the first half human, half cursed child. Kenjaku within the body of Noritoshi Kamo imprisoned them and had forcefully impregnated her, creating the 9-death painting womb. Many years later, he tried a different approach and took over the body of Kaori Itadori. Also, he could get some back shots by Sukuna's reincarnated brother. However, the intricate detail of what Kenjaku did to Yuji whilst he was in the womb is still unknown. All we know for sure is that Yuji was fashioned to be the ultimate vessel. Every muscle and bone within his body was beyond human from the moment he was born. After consuming Sukuna's finger, Yuji's body once again, through an evolution, adapted to Sukuna's curse energy, eventually making it his own. And to defeat Sukuna, Yuji even obtained more power by consuming the rest of his death painting womb brothers, pushing his cursed spirit lineage on a higher scale than his human side. We know curses do not age, as they are built by cursed energy and replenish their body with just that. Yuji's body is kinda in between and would likely age very slowly or not at all, explaining why he looks so damn young. However, why did Yuji choose to hide and escape from the eyes of the Jujutsu Council? Didn't he indirectly help create what it is currently today? Well, of course, the reasonable answer must be, my guy is depressed. Think about it. After the culling game ended, Yuji and Hana were needed to deal with the rest of the OG sorcerers that were awoken by Kenjaku. And after Gojo's death, he would be considered the strongest out of all of humanity. My guy is all alone, sitting at the very peak of sorcery. This mirrors his sense's entire life, as after Geto's betrayal, he was left all alone as well. Gojo did reveal that he just wanted to show Sukuna love because he can relate to him. People who are considered the strongest are often left alone at the top without love of their friends. Yuji lost his brother in Choso, Nobara is likely dead, and we all know Megumi died to a grade 3 curse. Yuji's entire generation might be gone for good, so he's walking as a solitude wolf, maybe waiting to fulfill his promise to Mahito and Sukuna after they reincarnate. In chapter 7, Mahito was also shown in limbo thinking of Yuji, and they aren't too different. So now Yuji is holding on to the past for a different future. Also, my boy is still human in some degree, so not only does he have to go through emotions of losing his friends and loved ones, all whilst being immortal, he is also treated as a weapon just like Gojo was. Japan would likely had tried to use Yuji multiple times to reach the stage they are in right now, one of the strongest countries in the world. Yuji likely had enough of all the BS politics. Instead of continuing to be a weapon, he just disappeared. However, it's not just the Earthlings struggling with the idea of peace. Even some of the Sumerians can't stomach it. Remember the dude that crossed laptop when he was just, 5? Yeah, his name is Oski. And he, after finally hitting the gym, thinks he earned a voice at the table. And so questions why Dabura, of all people, gets to make the final call. Especially when his people people are the reason they are in this mess to begin with. That's when a new Lemurian elder steps in, explaining the unified council system they have adopted. Basically, certain individuals get more voting power than others, a system clearly based on strength, just like their planet's old custom. Both Maru and Cross are amongst the strongest, so their votes carry more weight, and they are the ones who backed Dabura's rise to leadership, giving him the power to veto the majority's vote. Yeah, it's basically the Sumerians version of the UN, and Dabura is America with the veto button. Oski pretty much calls it a dictatorship. The elder then tries to make him understand that with Dura gone, Dabura is the only one who can act as the Sumerian chieftain. Being an outsider gives Dabura a detached, objective standpoint, allowing him to make decisions that can benefit them all without emotions getting involved. But this guy still hasn't forgiven Cross for that right hook. However, since they leveled up even more, he can't do shit, as the elder puts it straight to him. Forget Dabura, can you even beat the twins? This line shows the difference in power between the Sumerians. The twins under Dura's tutelage have grown immensely powerful, to the point that they have overtaken the average Sumerian in power levels and feats. In his annoyance, his old friend tried to calm him down, explaining that Dabura as ruler can only veto 2 times per debate. Since their entire council knows that Maru had been injured, the majority will once again vote for conflict. Until now, Dabura has been following his best friend's ideology to find neighbors and build healthy relationship by understanding each other. However, this brawnhead is having none of it. He believes that acting submissively will just cause a repeat of their past traumas. He sees Japan as a weak nation with no standing army, and hence should just be taken over. This is exactly why Usomi wants to find Yuji Itadori, so bums like him can learn their place. If the Sumerians learned that someone like Yuji existed amongst the humans, the option of conflict wouldn't even be taken into consideration. The old man once again tries to be the voice of reason within the faction of those who want a more forceful relocation. He suggests that they should push for an autonomous region within Tokyo to migrate to, whilst Oski doubles down and says to achieve this, conflict should not be thrown out of the table. It is time for the Lumas to become the Diskunte and take what they want, or else they'll always be the ones who loses the most. This was something that even Cross had mentioned to Yuka in chapter 7. Oski will likely create a conflict between the Earthlings and Sumerians due to the past experiences with the Diskuntes, with the hopes to take over Earth. And once that happens, Yuji will have no choice but to join the humans and defend his home planet against them. However, I don't believe they will be the final villains. They will come together and face a greater threat, i.e. the Diskuntins. Their chief does not seem like a person who would let go of the Maru ores, let alone some extra pure ones that Dura found. He might chase them all the way to Earth with his own set of ores. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and if you want more peak fiction, then make sure to watch this video